It's time for the countdown. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this very special broadcast. It's Monday. It's our public broadcast. It's the day where we show up for everybody all around the world who wants a little dose or a little splice. Is that actually a word, a splice? I'm sure someone will tell me that it is, of inspiration. Everyone needs a little bit of inspiration every now and then, and that's what I'm here to do today, to inspire you to be the very, very best that you can be. So one of the things that we encourage all of our My365ers to do is definitely take some notes. So if you have a pen and paper in front of you, I would really encourage you to just be ready, because I'm probably going to say a few pearls of wisdom. I wonder where that expression comes from. I know some of you think, oh, I need to go and find that. No. Stay with me. I just need to put this in one place and we can get stuck into some great content. You know what? I don't know about you, but I think it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. It's crazy, right? Christmas is upon us, and it's really hit me, actually, just in a different way than it would normally hit me. And I'm going to explain to you a little bit about why that is. So where are you? Let's start off by telling us, where are you in the world right here, right now, today? What part of the world are you in? And have you bought me a Christmas present yet? Because if you haven't, why not? I'm waiting for your present. But thank you for being here. Listen, if we last week, I think we had a record amount of shares. I think we had over 70 people share this in the morning. It would be great if you could share this, because I promise you, this content that I'm about to give you could save your life, give you a longer life, and other people's. I mean, that's really the power of what I'm about to share with you, because we're going to be talking about breath. Now, some of you might go, oh, breath. What's so amazing about that? Well, you know, it's great to see where you all are all over the world, from Leighton Buzzard to E12 and London. You guys are all here. Now, how many of you would agree with this, that there are simple solutions to most of our everyday problems? How many of you would agree with that? Let me say it again. There are simple solutions to some of our everyday problems. Now, as a coach, one of the key things that any coach should be doing is helping you find simple solutions to everyday problems. Or even if it's a big problem, this is the thing, you know, I don't care. If you come to me with a problem, I pride myself in, let's find a solution. Let's help you get what it is that you want, you know, because we fundamentally believe this, My365, your future is unwritten and you have the power to change. You have the power. Whether you tap into that power or not is really a question of how much you want to change, maybe how desperate you are, or maybe how inspired you are, or both. Desperate to move away, inspired to move towards something. You've got big enough reasons that you want to change something. And this is why everyone needs coaching. The word coach, as most of you know, comes from the word coach and horses. So this is where you are and this is where you want to be. But for most of us, we take advantage of things. Have you ever taken not advantage of anybody else? You might have done that knowingly or unknowingly. But what are some of the things that you have failed to take advantage of? What are some of the things in your life that you failed to ignore the significance of them? You see, what's happening now as we talk about breath, you can tell I'm talking quite quickly. So I'm not breathing particularly deeply, but actually on the inside, I'm actually quite calm. But the thing I observed yesterday, because look, if you learn to fundamentally change the way that you breathe more effectively, your whole life will change. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. But before we get into the content, this is what I've noticed yesterday and the last few days. Going into shops, Christmas music is playing. And what I see is everyone is in a little bit more of a rush. Like in Sainsbury's yesterday, you can see more people looking like this because there's more things to look at. You know, you can see all these big boxes of celebrity things and celebrity chocolates and big boxes of biscuits, and there's more of it there, and you're surrounded by it. And what seems to happen is there is more pressure. There is more pressure, and the pressure seems to be to conform. I don't know whether you agree with me or not, but it seems like there's more pressure than there was last year. And if you think about it, for a lot of companies out there, they are putting more pressure on people that go out and sell their products because people have more choice. Life is more challenging. So is there more pressure? Or is it the way we deal with that pressure? Now, I was around lots and lots of people yesterday, and it feels like there is a lot of stress and anxiety of people working towards Christmas Day, people feeling, oh, I need to get this, I need to get that, people putting pressure on themselves. Now, the hardest thing to do, or a hard thing to do, is to be around environments like that and not be affected. But when you coach people, one of the key things that we encourage people to do is to look at themselves. So if you could look at yourself, imagine you up here looking down at yourself. And if I was going to ask you the question, how are you breathing right now? Are you aware of how you breathe? You see, breathing changes everything. And if you don't believe me, just stop breathing, see what happens, see how long you can go. But what's really important is to understand with that pressure, there is no pressure. It's the pressure that you are putting on yourself. And what I want all of you to wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Newsflash, newsflash, newsflash is to wake up today on Give Yourself a Present, December the 4th. Open the Advent calendar of today, of the My 365 Advent calendar, and understand this. Breathing is a lot more than just breathing in, taking in oxygen and expelling carbon dioxide. Breathing is a lot more than that. Yes? Breathing and breathing more effectively, more efficiently is your ticket to greater health, greater productivity, going from the stress response to the relaxation response. The question is, are you prepared today of all days, to take more ownership of it? Or after this broadcast, will you forget everything that we've said and go back to what you were doing before? That's going to be the easiest thing to do. So, yeah, I heard that. Yeah, breathing. Yeah, that's interesting. We talk about this. The number one tool for personal development isn't actually a tool. It's awareness. When you become aware of how you think, how you feel, how you breathe, and this is it, become more aware of how you breathe, and you'll realize how I'm breathing is affecting how I'm thinking. If I change the way I breathe, could I change the way I think? Yes or no? And the only way you're going to find out is by doing something about it. You, me, everybody, we are all creatures of comfort. We are all creatures of, if you have a certain way of breathing, if you have a certain way of dealing with certain situations, for most people, any tension, any pressure, they put tension on themselves, which restricts the way they use their breath. So write these numbers down, 7 and 70. 7 and 70, two key numbers. If you want to improve your health, and those of you that are following the Upgrade Your Life Masterclass, I think it's Game Changer 5 or 6, about taking care of the hardware and really looking at the Magnificent 7, the 7 key things of eat, drink, think, move, talk, poo, drink. 7 key things that have to be in check in some way for you to have optimal health, optimal nutrition. And most of us just lose this. It goes out of the window because we conform at Christmas. And I'm asking you to give yourself an amazing Christmas present this year, which is for you to decide to be a better version of yourself and go to work on changing a few simple things. So the first tool of changing is for you to become aware, to take ownership. So how many of you, do you own this? Do you own this? Not this jumper. This is my jumper. Do you own this? No. Point to your face, point to your nose. This is my nose. Do it now. This is my nose. Do it now. Come on. This is my ears. Go on, say it. These are my eyes. This is my chest. These are my arms. These are my legs. Come on, this is me. And then go, this is me. This is me. You own this, right? It's yours. Congratulations. You've won the Star Prize, a holiday in Bermuda. No, you've not won that. You've won the Star Prize, which is you. How many of you want to go to work on making this better? Best way to start doing that is breathe. 7 and 70. Do you want let's breathe in for the count of 4, and maybe breathe out for the count of 4. Do you want to 7x your breathing? We can take in 7 times more oxygen by literally changing the way that we breathe. Now, fill in the gap. Where there's oxygen, there's life. Take more oxygen in. Guess what? Guess what, everyone? Shh, don't tell anyone. It's a secret. There'll be more life. Now, last Monday, those of you that watched the free broadcast, I gave you probably the most powerful tool, a real tool. So the first tool is awareness. The second tool is what we call my 3, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whenever you feel yourself in a situation of stress, worry, anxiety, when you need to engage, when you need to get out of bed, in your head, go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get out of bed. Because if you don't, your thoughts will take over and your emotions will take over. How many of you started to use that tool? Because it's so powerful. The easiest thing, it is the power tool. It's much more powerful than a chisel. It is the drill that can do anything to change your life in any moment. So we have the awareness tool. We have the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now, if you want to recenter yourself, let's become more aware of our breathing. So 7 to 7x your breathing. If you breathe in for a count of 4 and hold maybe for 2, 3, 4 seconds, and then breathe out for a count of 4, and you keep doing that now as I'm talking to you. It's the gift of life. There it is in a nutshell. Could you improve it? Could you become more aware of it? That's what mindfulness is, to become aware of your breath. You might have heard of Carpe Diem. Carpe Diem, seize the day. Well, I wouldn't say seize the day. I'd say seize carpe punctum. Punctum means the moment. Carpe punctum, to seize the moment. The best way to seize the moment is to breathe. And when you start to do this, you'll realize that there is no stress apart from the stress that you put on yourself. So what's the 70? Listen, 70% of the getting rid of toxins from our body comes from breath. 70%. And for most of us, we never really get down. And I saw this with my dad, a few months ago. My dad's life was hanging in the balance. He was in ICU 24 hours a day being watched because he obviously had an issue with his lungs, couldn't breathe properly, and he almost died because he couldn't get enough air into his body. Where there's air, there's life. And I ask all of you today to mark today, December the 4th, 2017, the day where you woke up and you thought, you know what? I'm taking responsibility for the way that I breathe. Because you can change the way you think, the way you feel in a moment by changing the way you breathe. You've heard this before. You've heard this before. But my 365 is we are doers. We are inspirators. Inspire is to breathe life into something. Let's breathe some life into us. Come on, do it with me. You see, 70% of getting rid of toxins comes from breath. 30% through sweating, through exercising. 30%. If you want to get rid of toxins from your body, breathe. Breathe. Carpe punctum. Not seize the day. The day is long. You can seize the moment. Carpe punctum. Carpe punctum. You think, what the hell is Pete going on about? Does this make sense? You see, let me just give you a little bit more, then that's it for today. You know what? Because there's enough, right? You all know that you struggle with how many of you struggle with consistency? See, I don't really struggle with consistency because the word consistency, in its scientific definition, is what holds a substance together. What holds you together? What holds me together is obviously my breath. What's going to help me to hold me together better? Better quality breath, better quality breathing, better quality rituals to do the things that I need to do to ground myself, to put me here, right now. And I challenge every single one of you, wherever you are in the world right now, and maybe you want to watch this broadcast again. If you haven't shared it, please share it, because this information will radically change people's lives. Radically change people's. It's such a simple message. And we can go into this in more detail, and we will. Those of you that are My365 Elite, we're going to be talking about this all week, because my goal is to help you become a breatharian, a breathologist, someone who studies breath by observing your breath and looking to improve it. It's powerful stuff, right? Over the festive period, there's something which many people are going to need. They're going to need long, deep breaths, I would imagine. They're also going to need some willpower. If you haven't downloaded my free ebook on willpower, just click on the link in this post and you can get it. And that will help you. Willpower, as many of you know, is your ability to get yourself to do the things that you need to do even when you don't feel like it. I really appreciate every single one of you taking the time to share, because you never know. There have been many My365ers that came across this coaching by accident. They weren't looking for it. They just found it because someone else posted it and they clicked on it, they watched it, and that information changed their life. So let me just recap. Okay, so if you want, this is something else, just put this in your mind, is I've worked with many athletes, and athletes are really interested in peak performance, right? Peak performance, so that when they perform, they can perform at their best. In many cases, it's this relaxed awareness of being in the moment, being in their own body, not worried about everyone else, not relating to everybody else. And I want all of you to start thinking about becoming a peak performer in your own life. What's your sport? What's your chosen activity? Maybe your chosen activity is to be the best that you can be. So if you want to be the best that you can be, that's something we have to practice. Practice, 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 practice. So maybe every hour, take a minute to focus on your breath. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you a nasal breathing technique, which can actually, we see that nasal breathing, believe it or not, when you breathe out of, most people, you have one side of the brain that is more dominant to the other, left and right. Nasal breathing is a way of looking to access the other part of the brain, so both hemispheres of the brain. As research done out of the University of California, fascinating. I read about this years ago, showing that nasal breathing, and that's one of the things they do in some yogas. So for yoga, for over 3,000 years, breathing is vital breath. And to focus on the breath could take your life to a whole new level, euphoric. You can feel amazing. That's why people feel better after exercise. That's why Tai Chi is the energy, the breath that you breathe in. In Indian Ayurvedic medicine, they call it prana. In Japan, they call it ki. We can just call it energy, your energy. Let's take you and your life to a whole new level by breathing. And thank you, Carmen, because yes, our member of the year, when you do smile, you'll take in more oxygen. When you feel down, you feel restricted, you feel stressed, you feel anxious, do something immediately to change the way you feel. The best way to do that is to change your breathing. Thank you so much for showing up here today. We appreciate every single one of you. I think this is a time where most of us, it's funny, isn't it? This is a time of year where we should definitely be looking to enjoy ourselves and have fun, But for so many people, it's a time of great stress and pressure. And we can be the examples by showing people how to be absolutely amazing. In fact, Susie Beaumont is just telling me, I did an interview to tune into, oh, it's crashed, I think. There it is. Let me try that again. Today on BBC Radio Scotland, let's see if that comes up. Tune into Personal Best on BBC Radio Scotland to hear me today at 1:30, actually talking about Christmas and dealing with Christmas. So 1:30 today, BBC Radio Scotland. Check it out. Thank you very much for all of you that have shared this today. Stresher, that's a new word. Thank you, Barbara. If you haven't shared this, please share it. We appreciate it. Have an amazing day, and we will see you. Hang on a second. Hang on. Goodbye, Instagrammers. Love you so much. Let me just do one more thing here. Why not? It's beginning to look a lot. Here we go. So here we go, guys. This has been day one. Thank you very much for everyone that has joined us. This is a week all about breath. And one of the things we spoke about this morning is 7 and 70. 7. If you want to 7x your life, then you can 7x your breathing literally by learning to take more oxygen in. Just sort of a little bit, incremental gains every single day. And the other thing we talked about was 70. Most of us don't realize that we get rid of about 70% of the toxins in our body through breath, 30% through exercise, through sweating. So just think about it. 70% of the toxins in your body could be expelled by literally you changing the way that you breathe. It's such a simple concept. We can do it. Your brain, your body, it deserves it. Have a great day. Change your breath, change your life, and we'll see you tomorrow. All the best. Much love. Oh, I'm still